All right.
Excited.
So we'll jump right into it. Just Cheryl and I today. Flora's taking some well-deserved vacations, so we'll see her back next week. But starting right off with Cully here. You can see here, this is the new crop, how great it's doing. We're past our 48-inch mark, and we'll continue to grow. These will continue to push right on track with last year's crop that we had up here. It will finish out at 60-inch, I'm sure. But you can see they're full of leaves. I've seen on other people's lots and customers where they got a lot of yellow leaves, a lot of leaf drop. We don't have that right now, so that's pretty cool. So, and I think these will continue to grow and look great. So Cheryl started with 250, and there'll be more that we'll put on there. Cranberry Creek. So, Cranberry Creek, this one here is in the, squat pot, that 5 gallon or squat 7. We got 2,000 of them on. You can see here the sizing on it. We got a new flush of growth. I will tell you, that's a big difference between our boxwood and a lot of our competitors right now, is we continue to generate new flushes, which is great. You can see that plant is vigorous and growing. A lot of other boxwood, especially if they use a bare root process where they take the plant, bare root it early spring and put it in a pot, it's done. It's done for the year. You cannot get that plant to reflush. So I know, especially in our local market, they do that process, and theirs are done pretty much flushing. So that could be a talking point, that these are container grown. We keep them lush. We keep them flushing. As that plant's flushing, it's generating new roots and it's ready to go. Instead of having a plant that went through another process, there's nothing wrong with it, but it pretty much stops over the summer and it just starts to harden up and just sits there. So that's a little bit of differentiation. That's a story you can tell to maybe grab that sale. Grass. So what do we got, Cheryl?
I was excited about that.
All right.
Last to look at. We got the 19-centimeter Hamlins on the left-hand side there. Then we have Shenandoahs. The Hamlins, if you look at there's plenty of seed heads on there. They look great right now. It's kind of hard to see with the gravel behind it, but they are there. Next up is the Shenandoahs. They are starting to send up little seed heads, but they are very small and hard to see in the picture, but they are starting. Lots there. Next one is 3 gallon morning lights. Great color, starting to fill out the pot real nice. It looked good. Little zebra grass. They are really cute, great variegation in the leaves. They're all nice full plants. And if you scroll down, I put in there the 3 gallon Gracilis on the left. So they're nice full pots now, 500 available. Grass Adagio, there's 700 of those, nice and full. And the Blonde Ambitions still look great with the seed heads, nice and full, overflowing the pots, matter of fact, on that one. So there's 1,600 available on those.
Okay. And, on all these grass, except for like the Blonde Ambition, and maybe the Shenandoah is starting a little bit. Remember, they won't start pluming for a little while. So, normal pluming in our range won't start till we might start seeing something the 3rd week of this month. Yeah. So that's something to note, because if somebody says, hey, I got some in that are full plume, chances are they got them from down south. I know the ones in Florida and Georgia and stuff like that, a lot of people bring them in, wholesale centers bring them in sometimes in bigger quantities, ship them up. They're probably pluming already. That's not necessarily a good thing, because once they start to plume, the foliage starts to go downhill, right? So these are fresh plants. They'll start to plume here in a little while. That's natural for our environment here. I think that's a better plant to have. So another story to differentiate ourselves. All right, grow bags. So Cheryl, hit us with what you're doing with grow bags.
All right, right now the crew's out there digging more juniper skyrockets. Here's a picture of the ones that are above ground. Just wanted you to see what they look like. There's 50 there, and then they're digging 100 more right now. I checked on them this morning and they were looking really good. They already had maybe, I don't know, half of them out of the ground, so those will be rolling on today, okay? And there will be also juniper tailors and technicians, hopefully tomorrow, and then I will also send you out pictures for those.
So remember on the grow bags, these are in the field. We lift them out of the ground and we put them in a plastic pot and the bag is still on them. If you look at the bottom of your photo there, there's a little red tag hanging on the pot. And that tag says you must remove the bag before you plant. So that's very important. You know, the people who have been bringing them in, I'm sure they understand that, but if you have a new customer, make sure they understand this process. Make sure they understand what they're getting. These are not container grown. These are grown in bags in the field. They have a little heavier soil, so we get a better root system on them, which the landscaper would appreciate. So it's just tell them what it is before they get it. I think they'll be very happy. It's just they have to remove that bag before they plant. All right, so a bunch of hydrangeas. We'll whip through these. So Bobo, you know what Bobo is. You can see there we got nice fresh growth. You got flowers starting. Well, go ahead and go to the next one. We kind of switch gears a little bit here. So this is oak leaf. You can see here we're switching to the next crop. The original crop that we left untrimmed is getting kind of big, wanting to flop a little bit. So we are going to do a light trim on it. But you can see here, look at all that lush, fresh, new growth, how strong and sturdy it looks, clean foliage, all the kind of things that you'd want. So she's got 300 of those. Now we go back into the paniculatus. So let's hit quick fire fab. So you can see there, quick fire fab. We got new blooms on it. Remember, quick fire fab is more of a pinnacle type flower. And quick fire is kind of more of a flatter flower. I don't particularly like how they named it, but there is a fairly significant difference between the quick fire flower and the quick fire fab flower. It still tends to be an earlier bloomer. That's why they chose the quick fire route to go. But this will be kind of a creamy white and it'll turn deep red. Okay, so it's going to be creamy white for a little while. Then it'll go to hitting those red colors here in a couple of weeks. So you got some real nice choices there. There's other hydrangeas out there. We're doing our best to keep the flowers fresh. We had a little hiccup this week with one of them that we had to pull off the dock. Some of the varieties aren't doing as well with the heat. Those couple of hot days in there kind of burn the flower out, especially some of them that started blooming a little while ago that were probably trimmed real early and for that earlier round. So we're switching to the next round of plants that we did the split trim on to try to give a little bit fresher flowers. But sometimes these hot days, you get those 95-degree days that really puts stress on that flower and doesn't make it look as good. So that can happen on the customer's lot too. There's nothing wrong with the plant. If they look a little rough, you can remove the flower. And if you do it like right away, and they're watering them right and they're giving them a little bit of fertilizer, they got a good chance of them throwing another bloom. So just a little tip. All right, junipers, jump into these. So it looks like Cheryl gave us a collage. So we'll just whip through these. Pronana, Blue Pacific, Blue Star, and Sea Green. So, we got some real nice plants there, got some great sizing on them. It seems like for whatever reason, junipers are a little long on the market right now, where they were actually almost starting to get short last year. So that's just kind of tells you how it flipped. These are typically the landscape re-wholesale market. So it's interesting that it seems like we're doing pretty good with the landscape re-wholesale, but these don't seem to be picking up. But Blue Star, that 2 gallon there, that's just a fantastic plant there. So make sure that we're pushing that out there against others. I don't think there's too many out there that are that quality. The rest of them might be a little bit tougher sell, but we'll keep pushing through. Just wanted to show you the quality that we have. And we went through and a lot of people walked away from them because they weren't moving. So some stuff is getting pretty rough out there, but we went through a trim process and made sure. You can see all the cuttings down there on the bottom. And we just made sure that these plants will continue to look good for the rest of the season. All right, so we're going to jump into Schmargards. So I wanted to show you the emeralds here, how great they look. So you can see there we have a 7-gallon on the left and a 15-gallon on the right. So we'll talk a little bit about the local side of things. So we got a local grower, but they're doing some discounting out there that we're bumping up against. But I verified this with what they have over there, and they have a 7-gallon, and they're offering discounts on it, but it's a 36 to 42. Okay, we're shipping out this 48-inch plus, and it's nice, full, heavy. The 15-gallon, they're doing a 10-gallon, 48 to 54. We're doing a full 60. We're both starting at the same price. So we both have the same catalog price. They may be offering some discounts. This is, and we've done some discounting, but this is where you got to push the quality of what we have, the value of it, of what we have. We're going to get that landscape there quicker. We're going to land these on the lot to a re-wholesaler that are going to be more the size that landscaper is looking for. So I do know that in the local market, there's been some price pushing there, but we have to be comparing apples to apples here. You're going to get a much better plant from us than you are from our local competition right now. So make sure we're talking about that and not just have somebody tell you I can get them cheaper from here. Make sure before we hang up the phone that we talk about the quality, or grab these photos and send them out and just ask, what are you getting for that dollar? All right. Salix, Huron Nishiki, lots of split trimming out there. We continue to have, that variegation in there, a little bit of color on the tips. When it gets hot, you don't get as much pink in it as you do in the spring or later in the fall as it cools down. But I've been surprised how well we still have variegation, margin variegation on the edges of the leaves, a little bit of coloring on the tips with the heat we've been having. So I think the growers have done a really good job. They've done a great job with split trimming. Cheryl's going to be moving into another crop here shortly. So we'll walk away from this crop and then go into the next crop. So we don't have a split trim, we have a quadruple trim. So we have 4 different trims out there to make sure that we can keep rolling into fresh. So you can push that side. This typically isn't a landscape wholesale plant, more of a garden center IGC plant, but I don't know, keep pushing it, keep throwing it out there. We got some great numbers on it and really nice looking plants for the summer. Last but not least, Viburnum Summer Magic. So these are in a 7. These are also offered in the American Beauties as straight prunifoliums we have. This was just a selection that Willoway did quite a few years ago, a little more uniform, compact, great plant. You can see some of the gloss in the leaf. It holds its leaf all year. It's very tough and resistant to a lot of insects and disease issues. Prunifoliums are, and it's because of its native status. It's developed through a lot of these diseases, and over time has come up with ways to combat them. So where other viburnums might get a little rough in the summer, this one continues to look really good. Springtime bloomer, blooms once. Most viburnums are that way. But you can see here the quality that you're going to get in that 7 gallons. So make sure if somebody's, I need prunifolium, you know, this is a prunifolium. It's just a selection that we did. It's going to be one of the, a nice prunifolium that they'll be able to get. Hardy, tough, you know, zone 4. It's a tough one. So you can do a lot with this thing and be successful. All right. Is that what we got?
Mhm.